White bank manager calls cops on black kid, speechless when her mom. The CEO arrives. Before we dive in this story, hit the comments and tell us your city or country. Let's see how far this story reaches. If you like the video, please subscribe. He only wanted to open a savings account. 13 years old, polite, dressed in a clean hoodie and jeans, standing alone at the front desk of a bank. But to the white branch manager, his skin tone was reason enough for suspicion. Within minutes, she called the police, claiming he was loitering and aggressive. But what she didn't know, what left her speechless, was who his mother was. When a black SUV pulled up outside and the woman stepped out in heels and a blazer, the entire bank froze. The CEO had arrived, and she wasn't smiling. Watch until the end. Jaden had spent weeks saving up birthday money, small side hustles, and allowance. His mom had always taught him that wealth begins with discipline. So he walked to the local bank, ready to open his first account. He rehearsed what to say, wore his best clothes, and even brought a folder with ID and documents. The bank lobby was calm. Older customers sipped coffee and flipped magazines. But when Jaden approached the front desk, the mood shifted. The manager glanced up, hesitated, then asked, "Where are your parents?" Jaden explained that his mom was at work and he had everything he needed. She frowned, stepped back, and whispered to a teller. Moments later, he heard the words he'd never forget. "We may need to call the police." He wasn't loud. He wasn't causing trouble. But he was black, and in that moment, that's all they seemed to see. Jaden stood still, his folder clutched in his hands. Around him, people began staring. One customer shook their head. Another muttered something under their breath. The manager returned, her voice sharper now. "You can't be here without a parent. I've asked you to leave." Jaden tried to explain, but she waved him off, then turned to dial. "Yes, we have an unaccompanied minor refusing to leave. I feel unsafe." Jaden's throat went dry. Unsafe? He was 13. And all he wanted was a bank account. Just then, his phone buzzed. He quietly texted one word, help. 12 minutes later, outside the glass doors, a matte black SUV rolled up. Out stepped a tall black woman in a navy suit and red lipstick. Her heels clicked across the marble floor with measured power. "Where is he?" she asked calmly. Before anyone could answer. Her eyes locked with Jaden's, and then the manager's, the same manager, now stammering, "Ma'am, can I help you?" The woman raised an eyebrow. "You already did enough." She turned to her son. "You okay, baby?" He nodded slowly, eyes wide with relief. Then she reached into her purse, pulled out her ID card, and held it up. The gold letters read, "Chief Executive Officer, Legacy Bank Corporation." Gasps swept through the room. The manager's mouth dropped open. The very woman she had ignored, judged, and tried to remove, was her boss's boss. "I'm the CEO of this bank," she said, her voice ice. "And this boy is my son?" The silence was deafening. No one moved. A security guard, unsure what to do, stepped back. The manager stuttered something about policy and miscommunication. The CEO stared at her. "You didn't follow policy, you followed bias." And then she said the words no one expected. "Please collect your things, you're done here." The manager, pale and sweating, stood frozen as reality sank in. Justice, for once, hadn't taken months. It arrived. In heels. And it didn't raise its voice. Jaden got his account that day personally set up by a senior executive with an apology in writing. His mom didn't yell, didn't curse. She let presence and position speak louder than rage ever could. But this wasn't just about one boy and one bank. It was about what black children are taught to expect, and what the world needs to learn to correct. Jaden learned something that day, too. He didn't need to shrink to make others comfortable, and the world learned that power doesn't always look the way you expect. So next time you assume someone doesn't belong, ask yourself, do you know who you're talking to? Which country and city are you watching from? Share your thoughts and stories in the comments. Let's make sure this never happens again. Take care.